Hello friends of the written word and of the curious mind. Welcome back to another video. Today what I have for you is DESIGNA, Technical Secrets of the Traditional Visual Arts. Now this little gem of a book bridges design, geometry, art history, and cultural patterns. It's really a feast for your eyes and for your intellect. But on the cover here, in the same, much like this other books in the series, we have this really nice kind of rainbow holographic material used for the text and on the spine as well. And we have these really interesting geometric patterns on the cover. Everything from a dandelion to Celtic swirls to Islamic patterns, tessellations. It's all encompassing on the cover here. And the spine. And the back cover, we just have this little blurb. Hardcover. Nice, compact. It's compact, but it's dense. I think there's like over 400 something pages. And it was published in, I think the 2010s. Now let's check. What does it say here? 2014. Published in 2014. But yeah, the wooden books themselves, their mission is to provide, small format but high content books. They're beautifully produced. They link classical and often neglected arts and science subjects. So, and DESIGNA is a perfect illustration of that goal. Contents page here, we have it broken into 6 sections: Celtic patterns, Islamic design, curves, perspective, symmetry, and my favorite, the golden section. It's the golden ratio and how it relates to visual applications. Preface. So there's a lot that I like about the book. It's visually rich. Just flipping through here, you can see it is lavishly illustrated with engravings, woodcuts, original drawings and diagrams. And they're not mere decoration. They're integral to the argument being presented about how design arises from geometry, culture, and mathematics. And it's a cross-cultural span. One moment you're looking at the curves of Celtic art, and then the next chapter you're looking at the elaborate tessellations of Islamic design, and you're looking at symmetry and perspective. So the breadth really is it really is impressive for a book this size. It's a little dense, but it's approachable for sure. It doesn't assume that you're a professional designer or mathematician, but it doesn't dumb things down. For example, there's a chapter on the golden section, as I was mentioning, that connects both historical use and aesthetic implications in a compact way. And it's a really good resource for creatives. If you're like me, you're an artist, you draw, you illustrate, or you design. or even if you simply just enjoy visual structure, this book gives you material to think with and to refer back to. And I found myself pausing on pages just to absorb the pattern logic and the implied why this form behind what I often would assume to be just pure decoration, but there is method in the madness. So having said that, who the book is for, who it's not for, well, if you're purely looking for how to design like this, manual with step-by-step tutorials, this book is not for you. This book leans more toward insight and framing than tools and exercises. And because, I will say, because of its wide scope, some chapters cover more. Some chapters just they're very brief. They don't cover a whole lot. So if you're deeply specialized in, say, like Islamic design, you might wish for, you might be wanting more, and you're going to have to look for more information and more depth elsewhere. That being said, the format is tidy. It's tiny in terms of physical size and page count relative to the depth of topics being discussed and the density. So, it demands slow reading and revisiting. It's not something that you can just kind of quickly skim through. It kind of, drops these little information bombs on you, and then you ponder and you go look for more information, and then you can come back to it and contemplate on different ideas as well. But yeah, overall, if I were to rate it on a scale for collectors or designers and seekers of pattern, I'd say this book I would strongly recommend it. As I said, it brings together form, heritage, geometry, and art into a somewhat coherent offering. For less than the price of many full-size design textbooks, you just get this very nice, elegant little production. And, for someone like me, or perhaps you, with a creative bent, maybe you're an artist, or someone who treasures visual thinking, this book, becomes an invitation. So, yeah, it's really lovely. And what I really, really appreciate about the book, the Wooden Book series, is the appendices, the appendices and index. There's a whole plethora of topics, down to weaving patterns and how to construct them, to grid design, spirals, construction, whole section on Celtic knots. This, I found this really fascinating. Artist pigments, recipes for how to, and the alchemical recipes for how to create your own paints, which is, as a history and art buff, I just love it. There's some mathematical curves and compass and ruler constructions, vegetable and animal patterns, golden constructions, proportions and ratios, you know, it's all there. Botticelli's Birth of Venus being used as an example here. Pontoon grids. It's really interesting book. I really enjoy this one. It's a lot of fun to read. Fractal math. It's just, there's so many topics covered. It's just, it's invaluable really to have something in print, a physical copy like this. Of course you can look online and find online resources, but I personally like having these physical copies just to kind of peruse through and reference when needed. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Please let me know if you'd like me to check out any other books, or if you have any book recommendations for me. I would always very eager to receive new recommendations, so please leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care.